Hello everyone, this video is in continuation to our topic of genetics, where we are discussing principles of inheritance and variations for grade 12th. We have discussed the work of the Mendel, and we are discussing the various mutations in the genetics principles of inheritance. In continuation to that, today we are going to discuss about complementary genes. In this video, I'll be talking about what are complementary genes and how do they show their effect. And plus, we'll also be taking one example where we'll be crossing and we'll be finding out the results. So please watch the video till the end, and so that at the end you can take the notes and use these pointers in your notes. Please like, share, subscribe the channel for grade 12th and 11th videos for NEET exams, CBSE board, ICSE, ISC boards, every board. Thank you so much. So we'll start now. Complementary genes. First of all, what are complementary genes? When I say that we are going to talk about complementary genes, these are the type of genes in which the genes are present on the different locus on same or different chromosomes. In our previous video we have already discussed what is a locus. Locus is a point on a chromosome where a gene is present. Like for example, if we talk about a gene, so this is a point where the gene is present, so this is a locus. So complementary genes are arranged such that here the gene will be present. Gene is present at different loci or locus in same or different pair of genes. Now if I show you a picture that how they are present, so if suppose we have these genes here, homologous genes, so maybe the gene for maybe suppose any gene, random gene, maybe A is present here and B is present here, and both of them, now this is important, complementary, they complement, both of them are responsible for appearance of one trait. We'll be discussing how. Fine. So basically these are the type of the genes which are present on different loci, maybe on same chromosomes, and they can be on the different homologous chromosomes also. Maybe one is here and the other one maybe on the other pair here. Fine, but they will be responsible for controlling one trait. So we will take an example here, and we are going to take the example of sweet pea. So we are going to take the example of sweet pea, and which character in sweet pea? Color of flower, which is basically mostly purple. So we'll talk about it, that how this purple trait appears, or what is responsible for the appearance of this purple trait. Before making the cross, we must understand the mechanism which takes place in the plant or the sweet pea for the appearance of this purple color, because it's a quite altogether different type of pigment which we don't observe normally. So what happens? Maybe we'll talk about this like raw material. That means from where the pigment has to be produced. They will now form in the presence of, I'll mention here, in the presence of enzyme maybe E1, they will form chromogens. Fine. And then these chromogens will be further converted into anthocyanin. Anthocyanins, which are responsible for purple color. I'll write here. Purple color, and these chromogens, they are white. Now enzyme E1 is responsible for conversion of raw material into chromogens, and maybe enzyme 2 is responsible for conversion of these chromogens into anthocyanins. Now the production of these enzymes is controlled by a gene. Enzyme E, production of enzyme E1 is controlled by maybe C gene, and production of enzyme E2 is controlled by P gene. Fine. So I am taking C because of chromagen C, and I am taking P because of purple color. Fine, you can take anything here, but this is just, it relates to, that's why. So gene, sorry, this is a gene, I'll write here. Gene C is responsible for production of enzyme E1, and gene P is responsible for production of enzyme E1. Fine, this is the whole procedure which takes place. Now something important which we want to know here is, or which we want to learn here is, that both the genes need to be dominant for purple color to appear. Purple color to appear. Now why is this so? That means C and P both should be dominant for giving purple color, because if here C is recessive, chromogens will not be formed. If here P is recessive, from chromogens purple will not be formed. So what I'm trying to tell you is that in any of the heterozygous states, like for example, if we have C caps, C smalls and P both caps, in this situation the character will be purple because P caps and C caps both are present. But if I say that this situation is there, it will be white because the gene which is producing E2 is not dominant, it's not producing E2, so no purple color. Fine, sorry, in this condition where we have both of them dominant, I'm so sorry, both of them are dominant, here I'll write purple in this situation, purple in this situation. But if suppose it is this situation, it's white. Suppose it is, I'll take one more like this, suppose it is this condition, here also white. Suppose it is maybe this condition, here also white. Reason being, in the presence of one recessive trait out of C and P both, it will show the other enzyme will not be formed, so that purple color is not going to come. So this is the mechanism which is followed. I'll make a cross for the same, for a better explanation. We'll make a cross. So for making a cross, we will keep the Mendelian pure lines same. We will take Mendelian pure lines also, and maybe we are going to now cross between one with both the dominants and second also with both the dominants. So we'll see what kind of a result do we get. Is crossed with maybe this. Up this is also dominant, this is also dominant, this is also purple, and this scenario is also purple. Why? Because both C and P in both the scenarios are dominant here, so both of them are purple in color. Now what do we get in F1 generation? If I talk about F1 generation, in F1 generation we are going to get one result in all the 16 combinations, and that is this. All 16. Fine, we are going to get this result if we make a cross also. So now we are going to find out F2 generation. We'll do selfing of this, will be selfed, and now when we are done with the selfing, we'll see what result do we get. Again same scenario, capital capital, small small, capital small, capital small. If you want to know what is this, you should go through the playlist of dihybrid cross on my channel, and you will clearly see that how I have made the cross very simple and easy for you to learn. So this is how we make a dihybrid cross. Now I'll write what do we get. So writing it quickly, this is something which we'll get. Again I am reiterating that if you want to learn how to make a cross in a very easy manner, please go to the channel and watch the video. I'll also paste the link for this video in the description box. You can see the description box and go to the link and see. So CP and CP, here we have cap, CP, CP, here we have this, then we have here this. Fine. It's very easy once you know how to make them. It's very easy to make. Then it's CP, then it's caps, then CP, and all CP small. So this is what we get. in all the boxes. Now we are going to calculate that how many of them have purple here. Capital C, capital P, all the 4 boxes have capital C, capital P, so all are purple. Purple, purple, purple and purple. Capital C is here, capital P is here, this is also purple. Capital C is here but P is small, so this is white. Capital C is here and capital P also present, so this is purple. Capital C is here, P is small, so this is white. Then we have capital P here and capital P, C is capital, so this is also purple. Here also CP capital, this is also purple. Here also we have both of them capital, so it's purple. Here we have C is recessive, so we have it as white. This also white because only one capital is there. This is also white, one capital. This is also white, one capital. Here all are recessive, so it's white. So now when we count, what do we see? When we count purple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is 9 purple. And when we calculate white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the ratio is 9:7. So you should always remember that if in an MCQ it's asked the ratio is 9:7, what type of genes are responsible for regulating these traits? Answer is complementary genes. So F2 ratio for complementary genes is 9:1. 9 purple and 7, sorry, 9:7, 9 purple and 7 white. So this is how we explain complementary genes. We have discussed what are they. We have talked about a mechanism, how it appears in sweet pea, and we have also done a cross stating the or reaching out to the ratio or dihybrid ratio of a complementary genes. In our next video, we'll talk about the other type of genes, that is duplicative genes. So keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing.